What's that?
You got to see this. Look, take a look.
Oh boy.
Got away.
Oh boy.
And Moshe Chaim.
Oh boy. Stocks are up. Stocks are up. Wow. Shkoyach, Hillel.
Yeah. The Daf Yomi bus. Okay. We're holding on the Lamed Amid Aleph. Lamed Amid Aleph by the two dots. See that? 30A. Thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day, sometimes twice. And in this list of our learning, we should have the basic English immediately.
Right.
Learning the Nishma, Sava Gold, and Asparach Ben Yamin, and the son was Ben Sian. And for Refuah Shleima, for Avin David Ben Sarah, and Gedali gets Ben Fegets.
Amen.
Okay. We said this chapter, Cheskas Abatim, has a lot of court cases. So it starts like this. It says, Hu Damle Lachavre. It's a person that said to his friend, my base, what are you doing in this house? Amalei, so the person tells him back, Minach Savinte. I bought it from you. And I was here 3 years. Amalei says, I was in a very distant place. And I wasn't able to protest. You see, the way Chazaka works is that if you were there for 3 years, there's a proof that it's actually yours, because why didn't the owner protest during that time? You should have said something. Why didn't you say anything? So he says, the reason why I didn't say anything is because I was far away and I didn't know about what's going on over here. Amarle, so the purchaser tells to the seller, the guy that's the big businessman traveling around the world, he says, Vesli Sadi, the Kol Shata, but I have witnesses that you were here every year for the last 3 years. Every year you would come for 30 days. And you stayed here, you would come back. You know what's going on. So Amarle, he said, 30 days that I was here, I was so busy getting my the produce or whatever. I would take the merchandise that I would get to sell, and then I would take it to faraway place. I was busy collecting. I didn't have time to deal with that you happen to be in my house. He probably had 2 houses. Amarava. Yeah, it could be. Amarava. Rava says that's a possibility. He has a good claim. Rava considered that a valid claim. Okay, next case.
So what's that? So what was the end of it?
That he doesn't have a chazaka. He has to bring witnesses. Yeah. Yeah. Document has to bring witnesses. He doesn't have a document, and he's claiming as a chazaka. And the chazaka only works because the other guy didn't protest, but the other guy wasn't here or he was too busy. Rashi speaks out some interesting things, but it's fine as is. There was a person that said to his friend, my boy Spayara, what are you doing in this property? Amarle, so he says, Mi planya zavinte. Take out the words, Amarle. The Zavna Minach, I bought it from so and so that bought it from you. It says, basically, I got it from you, but not directly. I got it from someone that bought it from you. Now, Amalei, so the seller says back to the purchaser, he says, Atlav Kamoidis. So obviously,
is it a seller or
there's an original owner, Murakama he's called,
right?
And then there's the Machzik, the guy that's there.
And it's a guy in between.
And then there's a guy in between, which
So
he doesn't show up over here.
Right.
So he says, I bought it from the guy in between. I bought it from you. So the Murakama, the original owner, says, Atlav Kamaide, don't you agree, the Hayaradidi, that this land used to be mine? So you admit that it's mine. And you didn't buy it from me. Zil, get out of here. La badvar didiyat. I don't know who you are. You have nothing to do with me. You didn't buy it from me. You admitted that it's my land, and you don't have any claim. Now, there's a big discussion here. What's going on? Because he said he does have a claim. He bought it from the guy that bought it from him. The problem is that we don't have any proof that that person purchased it. If he's renting, then that's fine. That's either pay, then he'll have to figure out who to pay the rent to. But he's not claiming that it's his. Here, there's a discussion. Whose is it? He's trying to claim that the property is his.
And obviously, in all these cases, no proof.
So he doesn't have any proof that the middle guy. He has a maybe he has a document, or even if he doesn't have a document, maybe he has a chazaka. I'm reading in the Rashbam. There's like it's not so clear. There's one side. He does have a chazaka. He doesn't have a chazaka. But whatever the case is, he doesn't have a claim that's backing his chazaka. He's saying that I bought it from someone, but that guy, we don't have proof that he was the owner. If we'd have proof that the person that you bought it from is the owner, then that would be a chazaka also needs a taina. Chazaka needs a claim together with it. You can't just say I was there. Well, what are you doing? You can't just do that. What's it called? Where you just move into a property. You move into
squatter.
A squatter. You can't just be a squatter. That was there 3 years, so therefore it's mine. You have to have a claim behind it. So here he's claiming that he bought it from someone, but we don't have any proof that that person actually purchased it.
But he's also admitting that this other fellow was the owner.
Yeah.
He just can't prove that he's admitting that this fellow is the owner.
So even if he has a shtar mechira from the middle guy, saying here,
you have to star mechira.
Even if he has the star,
even if he has a star,
it still doesn't hold. He says, you know what? Give it back and go get your money back from that guy.
The Brooklyn Bridge.
Right.
How do you know that he was the owner?
Right. Wow. Wow.
So if we would have witnesses, the Rashbam speaks out that if we would have witnesses that that person had actually lived there, that would be a different story.
Cool.
But we don't have that. Okay, next case. Person that said to his friend, my boy is Bahayari, says, what are you doing in my property? I bought it from so-and-so, and I've been here for 3 years. That should be good enough. He says, the guy you bought it from is a thief. It was never his property. Listen to this. The purchaser, we call him the machzik. He says, I happen to have witnesses that before I purchased the property, I came to you and I said, do you think I should purchase it? And you said, yes. Now you're telling me that it wasn't even the guys that I bought it from. So this Murakama, the original owner, says, Hasheni nayachli arishin kasher mena. The reason why I said that was because I knew that I'd be able to take you to court to get it. The first guy is a more powerful guy. I wouldn't be able to get it in court. So that's why I wanted you to buy it, so I'd be able to extract, to get the property back from the thief. Rava says, Dina Kamalai. So what he said was correct. That's a good claim. Rava's accepting that claim. Come on, who does that go like?
The claim from the one
from the Murakama that wanted it to go into this person's hand so that he should be able to extract it from him. It says, who does this go like? It says it goes Kadmain. It goes like Admain. The Tanan, it was taught in the Mishnah. If someone is contesting the fact that someone has the property, he says, it's not your property, it's really my property. The guy pulls out a document that says that he purchased it. And in the document, one of the signatures is the one that's contesting. Wow. He himself is he signed on that same document. Yeah. And Admin says, the reason why he signed on it is that the person can claim. He said, yeah, I wanted you to get it so that I'd be able to extract it from you in court. The first guy is a very powerful guy, and I can't get it from in court. He controls he's from the mafia. I don't want to deal with him. I wanted you to buy it, and I'll get it from you. The Chacham say, no, you lost your claims. If you sign on that document, then that means you can't claim anything. That's the Chacham. Now, Over here, Rav is saying that the Marakama, the original owner, Kama means first, Mara means owner. Marakama means original owner, first owner. The first owner is claiming that you bought it from someone that's a thief. And then he's saying that, and then the guy tells him, but you advised me to buy it. So who would that fit like? That would fit like Admain or like the Chacham? It would only fit like Admain. Be able to say that the second person is easier for me to extract it from than the first person. The Chacham say that if you signed on the document, then you lose your claim. So the Chacham over here would probably say the same thing, that you advised him to buy it, you lose your claim. You can't say that you can't say that it was never that person's when you yourself advised them to buy it. The Gemara says, "Afilu temer rabbanan." Actually, it could even fit with the rabbanan, because hasam avad le'maisa, aval hacha dibura dibura avad inish demikri v'amar. Over there, he signed. That's more of an action. Over here, he just spoke. And speaking, you could say it's a lot of times people say things just they give advice in this whatever, but they wouldn't sign. The fact that he didn't sign and he only spoke, that's still a possibility that the rabbis would agree that the Marakama can claim that the reason why I told you to buy it because I wanted to extract it from you in court. Next case, the person that said to his friend.
What's the conclusion on that one?
That doesn't.
Yes, gets it doesn't get it.
Rabba said that the original owner gets it.
When he signed it?
Not when he signed it, just when he advised.
Yeah, okay.
He said that could fit like Admain or the Chacham. There was this person that said to his friend, "My boy Bayara, what are you doing in this property?" I bought it from so and so, and I was there for 3 years. Good claim. He says to him, "Plani gazlanahu." Says, "Yeah, but the person you bought it from is a thief." Amalei says, "Vesli Sadi, but I have witnesses. The Asis Porta, Barmatli Zavnanali, that you came to me and you wanted to buy it from me. So if you wanted to buy it from me, obviously you agree that it's mine."
It's bored.
In the evening, you came in the evening and you said, "Well, please sell it to me." That sounds like an admission that
I bought it.
Amalei, he said back, "Amina is vendina. I thought it would be better to just to buy it for cheap and not have to go to court." Rava says, people would do that. People would pay money not to have to go to court. He was trying, he tried to do it in a way of shalom. Look, I'll pay you, well, not with the Ganav, it's the guy that bought it from the Ganav.
Okay.
He says, I just figured I would pay you a little bit of money. Maybe you'd give me a very good price, and that would be easier than going to court. You follow? Shmuley, it's good? Yeah. The commentary on. Well, because it's a chazaka sheni mataina. He doesn't have a claim that's substantial. Because even though he has a claim that I bought it, but that person that you bought it from was never the owner. Yeah. What's that expression? Turtles all the way down. Something you remember like a story like that? Something they said. But what's supporting this? They said another turtle. But so what's supporting that? There's another turtle. So he said, and what's supporting on the body? He says, no, there's turtles all the way. I forget there was some muscle of something. But basically, I bought it from someone, but who says he owns it? Oh, well, he bought it from someone. But who says he? Okay. The person that said to his friend, "My boy is Bahayara, what are you doing in this property?" Amalei, so he said, I bought it from so and so, and I've been here for 3 years. Amalei, so what are you talking about? You bought it? I bought it. I have a document that I bought it 4 years ago. You're telling me you bought it from that guy? I bought it from that guy 4 years ago. Amalei. So he responds back. He says, "Misaver shnei chazaka tlashni kamina, shnei chazaka tuva kamina." I didn't mean that it was only here 3 years. I was here many years. I bought it even before you bought it. I don't know why he sold it to you, because he had already sold it to me. So I'm a Rava. Rava says, "Avidinish the kar l'shnei tuva shnei chazaka." Yeah, it's possible that when a person says, "I have a chazaka," that it doesn't just mean that he was there for 3 years, because that would be admitting that it's the other person's, because whoever bought it first is the real owner. It's the question is when the person said that I was there for the years of a chazaka, does he mean only 3, or can he then claim that what I said chazaka, I really mean a lot of years? It says, "V'hani miladach l'sheva."
So chazaka will be, so if the guy, because what you're doing in my house, the first guy who spoke, he's not the Marakama, he's just the first person who's
Yeah, he's not the Marakama.
right? So, but if he comes up with a star,
He has a
says,
star.
I bought it.
I bought it 4 years
We're
ago.
saying that his chazaka will be stronger than his star.
Yeah.
And assuming that it's more than just 3 years.
Yeah. So there's one detail here that Bahani Mili, when did we say that this is accurate? The Achla Sheva the Kodem Chazaka Lahai Shtara Dahach. The only way this would work is that if the guy that's in it now, that's claiming that he has a chazaka, that he has it from way back,
right?
So that it would have to be at least 7 years ago that he bought it. Why? Because Aval Shis, but if he only had bought it 6 years ago, then this person has protested. He should have watched this document. Why don't you have to watch the document more than 3 years? Because no one said anything. You assume everything is clean.
History. The other person who claims it's also
The other person's claim it's 4 years.
Oh, 4.
So what he needs to have it from 7 years ago. So he needs to get 3 years of a chazaka without anyone saying anything, and then those 4 years. Why? Because if it's only 6 years, it means he had 2 years plus this guy's 4 years. Then the fact that there was now a sale of this property that you think is yours in middle of your chazaka means that you better hold on to your receipt, better hold on to that document.
How would you know about it?
Oh, because whenever there's a document, there's a call. Yeah. And because documents mean that there's witnesses. Whenever there's witnesses, that's what happens. And ever you come home from Besdin, so they say, "What happened?" Say, "Oh, you should have seen this and that." No one talks about it,
And then the word gets out.
yeah. Unless, of course, it's confidential, but otherwise it's public knowledge.
They would mention
That one.
the
Oh, they would make that it is public knowledge, right? Yeah, they would make it. They read the get again, and they to the witnesses. Witnesses should be public knowledge that the person is divorced. Okay. Today's daf. This is the correct page.
Rabbi, what page is that?
This is 31.
Okay.
This one says that it belonged to my father, and this one said that it belonged to my father. This is basically they're arguing over a property. Each one's claiming, "This is my property. This is it's my father." I see Sadi Davasi. One of them actually has witnesses that it belonged to the father. I see Sadi Chazak, and one of them has witnesses that he was there for 3 years. So who wins here? This is like a Marakama, or versus the Chazaka. Very interesting. Amar Rava says about this, Malay l'shaker. We're going to trust the person that has the Chazaka, because the guy that has the Chazaka doesn't need any documents. If he wanted to lie, there's a concept. If he wanted to lie, then he would have said something else. Therefore, we should believe him because he has that strength that if he wanted to lie, he would have said that. What could he have said? Amigo. What could he have said? So he could have said that I bought it from you. Where's the document? So I was here 3 years. I lost the document. And that would be strong enough. He has a chazaka. He has witnesses that he has a chazaka. And he has a claim that he bought it from him. So that would be a perfect claim. He didn't say that claim. Instead, he said that it belonged to my father. Another guy has witnesses that it belonged to his father, but he has a chazaka. So Rava says, well, he has a migu that we should trust him that it belonged to his father, because he could have said that I bought it from you. Amalei Abaya says, Mal shakib makamedim layamrina. 1 second. You're saying a migu that's contesting Adam, because I have witnesses say that it belonged to his father. And you're using a migu to say that it belonged to your father. A migu is not stronger than Adam. Migu doesn't it's called migu b'makom Adam. Doesn't work. Hadar Amalei, after this story happened, so he then comes back with a new claim. He says, "In Davasachi, I actually admit that it was your father's. And I bought it from him. This that I said that it was my father's, it was so much mine that I consider it like my father's. It's like so definitely mine. It's like what do you mean? I always had it. It's been mine forever. So do we say tayin v'chayzer v'tayin, ayin tayin v'chayzer v'tayin? Is this considered that he's changing his claim in court? You can't change your claim. But you can change your claim, and that's not you don't have the right to say what I said before. I'm retracting from that. You can't do that. Yeah. So Ula says tayin v'chayzer v'tayin. Ula says that he can actually switch it. He can. What he's doing over here is he's not actually changing the claim. He's just explaining that what I meant in my first claim is what I'm saying now in the second claim. It's adjusting something over there. It's mitaretz dibure. He's explaining that what he said meant something else. Nardoi Amri, and Nardoi, they said, do they have a note over there? Who's Nardoi? The Gemara says, whenever it says Nardoi, it's always someone.
I don't see.
You remember the Gemara in where was it? In Sanhedrin? Naphtali? There was a whole page just of whenever the Gemara says, B'marav Amri and Nardoi Amri, and there's a Gemara said, do you have a note? It doesn't say.
No, they're
The
saying
documents definitely have witnesses. In this case, there was 2 witnesses that claim and said it belonged to Reuben's father. And Shimon, not related to Reuben in this case, Shimon has witnesses that he was there for 3 years. So we said that Rava said that Shimon should win the case, because he had a good claim. He could have said that I bought it from Reuben. So comes along Abaya and says, yeah, but then you're making Shimon's claim, his migu, stronger than Reuben's witnesses, because he's claiming that it belonged to his father. Right? That was his claim. Then he sees that he didn't win that case. He didn't win that way because of Abaya's saying that that's not a good migu. So then he says, no, actually, I bought it from you. And this that I said that it was my father's is because it's as if it was my father. That's how much, how meaningful it is, how strong it is that I bought it. It's like it was mine forever. It's my father. So there's a machlekes now, Ula and Nahardai, if he's able to change his claim and explain his claim in that way. Well, this is a machlekes. Maydi Ula would agree. Ula said you're allowed to change the claim. If Shimon would have said, and it was not your father's, oh, that's a different story. Then you can't switch it and say that no, it actually was yours and I bought it from you. Then you can't switch it because let's say someone is in court. He didn't change the claim. Then he steps outside for a moment and he comes back. He comes back and he changes the claim. You change the claim if that's the case. Once you step outside, it's a problem. My time, what's the reason? Tanase Agmare. Outside, the people whispered to him, "Oh, you Shlamazel, you should have said, you would have said that, you would have got it. I had a case like this before. I know how the judges work. You have to say this and that. Trust me." If that's the case, so then we don't trust this guy that comes back in. We think that it's fictitious, right? Maydi Nardai says that you're not allowed to change the claim. Let's say he says, "I said it was my father's." Yeah, I never said that it's not your father's. It's my father's. My father bought it from your father. It's not even mataritz anything. That's exactly it's true. What's my father's?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say they were discussing the case outside.
It's not place of return. He hasn't really changed his.
He hasn't changed his claim. Let's say they were discussing the case outside, and then they step inside, and he makes a claim. When they were outside discussing the case, he didn't give any claim. He didn't say anything. I think today, in the court system, any sort of evidence that you're going to use, you have to share with the other side before the case. Before the case, you have to share that evidence. I think with the other side, I think you have to be able to to prepare yourself for the case. You have to be able to use that evidence. So that's how they do it. In the Gemara, it's not like that. You don't have to tell the other person anything. You show up in court, we'll take care of it all on the spot. So what happens is over here, they were discussing outside, and he doesn't say any claim. The guy says, "What are you going to claim when you step inside? What are you going to say?" He says, "Oh, nothing. I don't know. Let's go inside. I don't really have a claim. Let's see." Okay, they go inside. He gives like a strong claim. It says, "Wow, the chayes v'tayin that he's allowed to do, even though outside he said I don't have anything to say, but inside he gives a strong claim. My time, why is he allowed to do it?" It says, "This is typical for a person not to reveal his claim until he gets to court. Just want to give up all his strength. You're going to come up with a counter argument that he doesn't want to prepare him for." Okay, Amar Meimar says, "Ana Nardoi Ana. I'm actually from Nardoi, and I disagree with what Nardoi says. It's really the tayin v'chayzer v'tayin. A person is allowed to correct his claim by adjusting what the meaning of his claim is. The Hilchasa and the Gemara says tayin v'chayzer v'tayin, that you are allowed to adjust your claim afterwards." Okay. So
where does the halakha end up on that?
it looks like the halacha is tayin v'chayzer v'tayin. But nevertheless, this is very limited. It can't really be contradicting. It's only if it can explain it in that way.
It's funny. It's just it doesn't give any room for somebody who says, "Oh, now I remember."
Right. Right.
I feel like in American law also you can have multiple levels of denial. Like you came to my house and you took my orange juice. You say, "Oh, I was never at your house," and even if I was at your house, that orange juice belonged to me. I feel like American law, you are allowed to have these things are all kind of yeah.
I know in the Gemara there's this thing that if a person says, "I never borrowed from you," then it's too late. He can never say, I paid you back already.
Mm-hmm.
If you say I never borrowed, that's basically admitting that you didn't pay back. Once we prove that you can't say I never borrowed from you, and even if I did, I paid you back. I don't know if that's going to work.
Rabbi Shochet was of the view that once somebody comes bar mitzvah, he knows that he may be called to a Beis Din because now he's qualified as a witness. So people are careful to remember correctly what they see and hear.
Oh wow. Oh wow. The only thing that I can compare that to is by the Rebbe. every move that the Rebbe made, people would like analyze and remember, and then they would write it down afterwards, and they would give out these like Yuman. That every detail was like, they tried to get accurate. The Rebbe, they sang this niggin, and then afterwards they sang that, and then the Rebbe, made with his hand, and then, the Rebbe says, they analyze. I don't know if you ever saw those papers, but remember those papers that would come out, what years in 92 and 91. You get like exactly like who the Rebbe nodded to in each. They analyzed everything. Yeah, we get a list of who went by the Rebbe. Anyone important who went by the Rebbe for dollars. You get like the. Okay. Next case. It's the Bach had in over here. All types of good stuff.
Nina was doing it.
Sorry.
Nina.
This one says that it was my father's, and this one says that it was my father's. What's added in by the Bach will get added in now. This one brings witnesses that it was his father's, and he's there for 3 years. This one brings witnesses that he's there for 3 years. Now, how could they both be there for 3 years?
Upstairs,
Turns out that it's not really an upstairs and downstairs, but
Or basement.
one group of witnesses is lying. Because two witnesses, and anyway, one of these witnesses is saying, one group of witnesses is saying that it belonged to the father. Okay, so take a look where Rav Nachman says, Amar Rav Nachman, uki achila b'hadi achila. When it comes to the chazaka, this is contradictory witnessing, and so therefore they get canceled out. We put the chazaka against the chazaka, and there's nothing left. They cancel each other out. They get deleted. But one of the witnesses, one group of witnesses said that it belonged to the. So it's not Eidim Zaymamin. Eidim Zaymamin would mean that they said, how could you testify that you were there? You were with us. You weren't even there. You weren't even in this country when they were there. That would be Eidim Zaymamin. Now, by Eidim Zaymamin, there's a special halacha, a unique halacha that we trust the second group more than the first group. That's the rule by Eidim Zaymamin. Doesn't have to be like that, but the Torah says that's how it works. When it comes to witnesses that are contradicting each other, we don't have such a rule. We trust one over the other one, whichever one came later. We don't have a rule like that. They're contradictory. They cancel each other out. The only thing is that in this claim, they had one more detail. And that detail is that one group of witnesses said that it belonged to the father of one of these people. Amalei Rava says, it's contradictory. I'm sorry, I skipped Rav Nachman. No, Rav Nachman says that the land belongs to the person that said, Reuven says, Reuven's witnesses say that he was there for 3 years and it would belong to his father. Okay. Shimon's witnesses say that he was there for 3 years. So the fact that he was there for 3 years, that gets canceled out. But Reuven's witnesses say that it was belonged to the father. So he still has a stronger claim, even after everything gets canceled out. He's still left standing with the claim that it was his father's. So Rava says, you're going to trust these witnesses? You see they're liars. How can you not trust them?
Well, both could be liars.
Both could be liars. Amalei. So Rav Nachman responds, I understand that they're contradictory when it comes to the chazaka, but did they contradict each other about the fathers? No, they didn't contradict about the fathers. We can still trust them about the father. Gemara says, let us say that Rav and Rav Nachman are arguing about the same machlekes that Rav Huna and Rav Chisda are arguing about. Now it's very interesting because Rav Huna and Rav Chisda, if this would be Rav Nachman, if this Rav Nachman is, who mentioned yesterday, Rav Nachman, Dr. Stein mentioned yesterday that Rav Nachman is really older. Rav Nachman is like in the student of Shmuel, and Rav Huna is a student of Rav. They would be the same generation. So Rav Nachman really wouldn't be arguing with Rav, but maybe it's Rav Nachman by Yitzchak. Maybe. I don't have any commentary here that's discussing this, but I didn't see any. Yeah. Anyway, whatever the case is, the Gemara now says maybe the machlekes Rava and Rav Nachman is the same machlekes as Rav Huna and Rav Chisda. The Itmar, as follows, was stated. If I have two groups of Edim that they're contradicting each other, what's the case? This one says so and so borrowed $100 from another one. Another one says that's not true. He never borrowed any money. Why? How do we know that? Because we were with him the whole day. He didn't. You claiming that on Tuesday he borrowed? I was with him the whole Tuesday, and that story never happened. Okay, so and it's not Zayman over there. It's not saying that you were with us. How do you know that, right? It's just saying that it never happened. It's a regular contradiction. Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna says, "Zuba b'fnei atzmida, v'zuba b'fnei atzmida." When it comes to other testimonies, even though I know that they just contradicted each other about this case about Reuven and Shimon, when it comes to another case about Levi or about Yehuda, I trust each group of Edom independently that they can come and they can testify, because I don't know which one is really is the liar, and they have a chazaka that they're honest. So I'm going to trust each group independently. Now, if one aid from Reuben's group would match up with one aid from Shimon's group, then that would for sure be invalid, because there's definitely a liar there, and I'd be left only with one witness. But because there's coming independently, so then I can say, well, maybe I put each person on his chazaka that he's a trusted person. He has a chazaka that he's trusted. That's the view of Rav Huna. Rav Chisda says, I can't trust them. And Rav Chisda's view is a little different. Chisda's view is, I have to leave the money in the status that it's in, and I have a 50-50 about if I can trust the witnesses, because I have a doubt about the witnesses. I know that one group is liars. The only thing I know for sure is that the money was in the hands of someone. So I put the money in its chazaka versus Rav Huna that puts the people on their chazaka. I put the money in its assumed status. That's Rav Chisda's view. Rav Huna says put the people on their assumed status, that they're kosher. So, Lema Rav Nachman Damak Rav Huna. Rav Nachman said we can still trust the witnesses regarding the father. He must hold like Rav Huna, that says that you put each group of witnesses is assumed to be kosher independently. And Rava, Rav Chisda, Rava would hold like Rav Chisda. The Rava says, what are you telling me? The witnesses are liars. You can't trust them. Gemara says, Aliba the Rav Chisda, according to Rav Chisda, Kuli Amalei Pligi. Now, when the Gemara says that according to Rav Chisda, no one argues, what that actually means is that no one argues that Rav Nachman cannot fit with Rav Chisda. That's what it means. It means that they do argue. When it says no one argues, that means that they're not both trying to go like Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda that said that I can't trust these false witnesses, that clearly would fit with Rava, not like Rav Nachman. Okay, there's no argument about that. Keep ligi, but where would they argue? I'll leave it to Rav Huna regarding Rav Huna. Now, Rav Huna said that we trust the witnesses, right? Even though they're just contradictory and so one group is liars, we still trust them. Now we have a machlekes Rava and Rav Nachman. You see, there's a slight difference between the case of Rav Huna versus the case of Rav and Rav Nachman. And that difference is that in the case of Rav Huna, they testified about Reuven and Shimon that borrowed money. Did he borrow? Did he not borrow? What happens now is that they now come to a case regarding Levi and Yehuda, some other story. They want to use them then. In the case of Rava and Rav Nachman, we're using these witnesses in the same story with another detail of the case. So that's worse. In the same story. So it goes like this. Rav keep legalib Rav Huna. Rav Nachman Rav Huna. Rav Nachman also Rav Huna. You trust the witnesses. We don't know that which one are the liars. We trust them. Rav Nachman Rav Huna. Rav, and what does Rav do? Ad kan like Rav Huna leidas acheres. But when does Rav Huna say that you can trust the witnesses? That's because it's a different story. It's a different case. But Avalai say this lie. But for this exact testimony itself, in this case where he's saying that it belonged to his fathers and he was there for a chazaka, and we know that one of them is lying about the chazaka. You just want to trust him for the fathers. That could be maybe not. That Rava would say, Rav Huna wouldn't agree to that. Avaloi say the slide, but for the same testimony, no. Okay. Hadaraisi Sadi Davasi. What happened now was that the other group, Ruvain had witnesses that said that he had a chazaka and that it was his father's. Shimon had witnesses that said that he had a chazaka. He didn't have witnesses that it was his father's. Rav Nachman said that we're going to trust the Ruvain's witnesses. Comes along Shimon and now brings witnesses that it was his father's as well. Now, these are independent witnesses. We can't just put it in.
The case is already settled. You can't bring witnesses to bring up more information.
Very good. So Amar Rav Nachman says, the case that the verdict we made was we didn't have all the information. So with the fact that we put Reuven into the property, now we have to extract Reuven from the property, and we'll have to redo the case. We have new witnesses here. Yeah, we're going to take him out. Take Reuven out of the property that we put him in. We're not concerned that it doesn't look correct that the Bezdin is going back and forth. Can't that Bezdin make up their mind? First they do this and then they do that. That seems to be a concern. Rav Nachman says we're not worried about that. The Bezdin is beyond that. That pettiness. Let's leave the Gemara over here by Masav Rava, and because it's going to take us to the next page, let's leave it right there. That's good. Okay. Good day, everyone.